went to work in the real estate industry for the first year and did okay, liked real estate, but my college background was finance. And I just kept getting, I kept wanting or liking the whole loan process so much better than driving people around, showing them houses and, that type of stuff. And a gentleman started recruiting me and said, you'd be better in the mortgage side. And so that was as we went into 1985, I transitioned from selling real estate, which gave me a perfect background, and I went into mortgages, and I knew so many people in the real estate industry, some of them still out there today that I run into all the time, and I went into the mortgage industry in 1985. It's where I met Kurt Reisig, and I had a really good mentor to start with. His name was Dennis Dykstra, and Dennis has passed away since. That company wound up being sold and had a bunch of changes. And there was another company that a gentleman that I totally respect, love him, was a really great mentor. You mentioned mentors. His name is actually Jack Frost, believe it or not. Jack Frost had a small independent mortgage banking firm here.
Now we're just going into Christmas fairy tales.
It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Christmas fairy tales.
And so went to work at Independent Financial Corporation. Everybody knew it as IFC, and he was a great mentor for me for many years. I wound up as a manager for him. Did really well. That company sold. He wound up selling it and getting out of the business. And I didn't really want to work for the new company. And so I went into the mortgage brokerage industry. And at that time, different paths that we take. I wound up working for a company that started training programs for the lending industry. And I wound up traveling and all over the United States for about 20 years. Part of the mortgage brokerage, still closing loans, but I worked for HUD. I worked for the Federal Reserve. I worked for all of the national companies. We did all the training for Bank of America, for Wells Fargo, for Chase, for Countrywide. I just had a tremendous opportunity to get to know so many different national leaders and companies, and I was exposed to so much that after about 20 years of traveling, I'd had, my relationship with my son's mom fell apart, unfortunately, but I had a beautiful son, and I knew Kurt Reisig, and this was right before about the time you were talking about, 2006, 7, 8. Kurt and I started doing a lot of conversations. My son was getting to be, he was playing baseball, and I was on the road 230, 240 days out of the year. And Kurt continued to call me and say, I've got a job for you here. You can stay home. I've got a job for you. And I wound up coming to work for him. I've been here for 16 or 17 years, and I've seen Big Valley Mortgage grow, seen American Pacific move from a small player to now American Pacific's probably in the top 10 of independent mortgage bankers, and grown. They're licensed in all 50 states, I believe. We don't do loans in New York, but
49 out of 50.
Yeah, 49 out of the 50 they do business out of. And so I will say that I had a long line of really good mentors, Kurt being the one that really believed in me and put me in the position that I'm at. And, I think that circling back to you and what you were talking about is, I think that I spent a week at one of the self-help type of really amazing events, and one of the things that the challenges was to come up with one word that describes you as a person and what you are. And so by the time we got done with that week, what I realized, my one word that sums how I train, how I manage, how I interact, my one word was servitude. It spoke to me that servitude is really what people need in leaders, is someone that serves them and supports them. And, American Pacific and Big Valley Mortgage, we have, these, we talked about it earlier, creating experiences that matter. But it also, it's written on the wall over at American Pacific. It says, what we do is we spend every moment helping to make our loan officers and our managers look good, help to support them. And so this idea, I found a company where my one word, servitude, I'm a servitude type of manager, leader, it matched perfectly. And, I'll stay here till I retire. Kurt has given me so many different opportunities of, partial ownership and all of that kind of stuff.